Alright, everyone. This has been a long time coming, but I'm finally ready to give you all my story prediction for Bendy and the Ink Machine. Now, this story prediction is gonna be different than the ones I've done so far. And no, I'm not talking about like this. I'm not talking about that this story prediction is gonna be another video game predicting a story for an upcoming video game. No, I've done that already, but this story prediction is gonna be um, different in regards to this isn't gonna be a one-to-one retelling, or I'm not gonna be predicting this. The story I'm predicting for this video game movie is gonna be uh, essentially, I'm thinking that the events of the Bendy and the Ink Machine movie, I think that movie is gonna retell the events of what happened over at Joey Drew Studios before the events of the game, where Henry travels throughout the studio and discovers things that happen to it over time and all that. But yeah, that is what I'm gonna be doing for this story prediction. Now, a few things that I will mention before I do get started on this, just so that you're not confused as to why certain things aren't in this video. But yeah, so starting off, I'm only gonna be including the events from the first game in the Bendy series, Bendy and the Ink Machine. So no Bendy and the Dark Revival, and as of now, this game hasn't been released yet. No Bendy and the Ink Factory. So only sticking with Bendy with the events of Bendy and the Ink Machine. Just that. Just only stick elements from that game only. So if you're hoping to find a prediction for this upcoming video game movie or this video game movie that has been announced and all that, then you're gonna have to find someone else because I'm not gonna be doing that because that would take that would take a bit longer. Because if I included tapes or if I included notes and audio logs from Bendy and the Dark Revival or any other game in the series for that matter, that would take that would take way longer. So yeah, and yeah, that's the main reason why I took so long with this story prediction in particular. Why this one took me such a long time? It's because the audio that are in Bendy and the Ink Machine, it's not clear, or it's not specifically clear on when the logs were recorded, because there's no specific date as to when those logs were recorded, or when they or when they happened in whatever order. So that's kind of the main reason what took me so long. So yeah, for I mostly used for some parts I had to use a I had to use like I had to find a video for certain parts to see which logs it came in which order. And yeah, so if the retelling of these events is similar to that of certain videos that have shown off the what the chronological order is for these audio logs and Bendy in the Ink Machine, that's why. Okay. Am I forgetting anything? Oh yeah. Certain tapes in Bendy in the Ink Machine will not be included in this story prediction. Such as Sammy Lawrence's praise to the Ink Demon. as an example, since that log was recorded, I think after the studio got shut down and everyone got turned into inhumans and ink creatures and all that. So yeah, um, so and then okay, um, yeah, just wanted to make that clear. Um, okay, I think that's about everything. I think that's about everything I have to say. So let's go ahead and get started. So everyone, it's time I kept you waiting long enough. This is my story prediction for Bendy and the Ink Machine. The year is 1929, and a film studio called Joey Drew Studios was founded. The founder, Joey Drew, had wondrous ideas and planned to change the world with his creations. And in order to do that, he needed a team who were experts on making cartoons. Soon the studio managed to hire enough people in order for the place to start functioning properly. 2 weeks later, one of the employees comes up with the idea to create a new character people will enjoy. This character would become known as Bendy, but little did everyone know, other mysteries will soon lurk inside the studio. So then the opening credits play and the title of the movie is shown. We now jump to 2 years later. It's just another ordinary day at the studio. The janitor of the place, Wally Franks, is doing his daily routine of cleaning up around the studio, seeing employees draw at their desks and others walk past him. Then he stops for a moment and looks over to see what someone's drawing. On site, he sees that the character the person's drawing isn't Bendy or even Boris the Wolf, who was created about a year ago after Bendy was made. Then Wally sees someone walk through the hall of the studio, but doesn't recognize them. So he follows the person while cleaning up along the way as to not draw suspicion. When he's close enough, Wally overhears a conversation between the unforeseen person and the music composer, Sammy Lawrence. It turns out the new person's name is Susie Campbell, and that she'll be providing the voice for the new character that's being created, Alice Angel. Wally's shocked to hear this, as this will be the first character in cartoon history to speak. However, he thinks that Sammy heard him nearby, so he walks off before he's noticed. While walking away, he starts emptying the garbage cans, but he unknowingly drops his keys in a garbage can as he struggles to find where they went while trying to get his dustpan. Wally hopes no one will find out about his mistake, so he just leaves. The next day, a man named Bertram Piedmont is hired to make a new amusement park called Bendyland. But Joey still takes credit for all his ideas, making the former irritated. So he plans to do something about it, as it seems that isn't the only thing Joey has done to him so far. A week later, Wally walks around the studio doing his daily routine of cleaning. A lyricist named Jack Fane is working underground near a sewer system, which is hard to do given the circumstances. Grant Cohen, the accountant, is concerned with the work conditions due to the rumors that Joey is working on a top secret plan that will cost a lot of money. Deep down in the studio, we see the rumors are true, as Joey's top secret project is a giant machine that can mold life-size replicas of cartoon characters, which is dubbed the Ink Machine. With the help of Gent Corporation, the machine is working successfully and creates a crappy inky version of Bendy. After that, Joey orders the figure to be sealed away and to not have any more replicas of Bendy created. The next day, Joey talks with the head of the team, Thomas Connor, and says to keep it locked up tight, and says if the project failed because the replica lacks a soul, then they'll get a soul for the replica. Wally overhears the conversation, however, so to ensure the company's secret, Joey has Wally collaborate with the team for the time being. And as a safety precaution, Joey records several tapes for his employees to tell them to keep believing. During one of their shifts, Wally and Thomas struggle with what they're supposed to do and end up arguing over it. They eventually agree on what to do and successfully do the job right. Days pass and Wally senses something off in the place, as almost everyone's acting all pissed. It turns out that everyone is struggling on finishing the Bendy cartoons to meet the quota. There's been some moments like this, but never this bad. Could it have something to do with the ink machine? A month later, the machine starts to leak, which causes some problems throughout the studio. To resolve this issue, Joey installs an ink pump to drain the ink periodically, but he installed it in Sammy's office, which causes problems for the old songwriter. Because of these new distractions, he has to figure out a way to concentrate on his work. Then after that, Joey has everyone donate something from their workstation on different pedestals in the break room, and says it's to appease the gods. Among the employees, we see Wally, who is one of the few individuals who questions Joey's actions for the company. For now, though, he just brushes it off and gets back to work, although he hopes no pipes burst inside the building since he is getting tired of everything that's been happening. A few days later, Norman Polk, the projectionist, notices that for the last few days, the same thing is happening. Sammy forces everyone out of the recording studio and says they have to wait in the hall. Norman hears Sammy turn on his projector, then Sammy dashes down and does something while the projector is still running. A few seconds later, the projector turns off, but Sammy doesn't come out for minutes, let alone hours. Norman considered talking to Joey about this, but even he has his own peculiarities. Months later, Sean Flynn, who is a toy manufacturer, decides to paint a crooked smile on one of the Bendy dolls, but Joey criticizes him for it. Sean thinks that Joey should be figuring out what to do with the warehouse full of Alice Angel merch, since merch sales for that character have been dropping. Lunchtime comes, and Wally notices Susie following Joey. Something's going on with those two. Meanwhile, on another floor, Thomas notices that the elevators aren't working right, due to Joey cutting corners with the building plans. He tries telling everyone the danger with the elevators and that the stairs are safer, but no one pays mind to what he says. Later, as Wally is doing his daily routine of cleaning again, man, I'm getting tired of saying that, he senses someone creeping around in a dark place, so he runs away. But it's just Norman finding a good place to set up a projector, since the picture is viewed best when viewed in the dark. In Joey's office, Joey records a memo for administration offices saying that even though the company is struggling with finances and certain backroom incompetence, not trusting his leadership, it'll be fine as long as everyone trusts him as leader. The next day, Wally is tired of cleaning up after the warehouse employees from playing the unreleased carnival games and locking themselves up in the back room, so he suggests rigging the games to open the door if they win. That way they can still have fun and Wally doesn't have to travel down to the warehouse every day. Lacey Benton, or is it whatever, one of the backroom employees notices the Bendy animatronics sitting in the corner, which was something Bertram has been working on for a while, thinks it's moving on its own when no one's looking. But of course, this doesn't go anywhere. Meanwhile, when Susie is going to the recording booth to record Alice's lines for the new Bendy cartoon, she notices someone else in the room with Sammy. Sammy notices that Susie didn't get the memo and tells her that Alice Angel will now be voiced by Allison Pendle, who is the person standing next to him. Susie breaks and runs away and bumps into Wally on the way out. Later, Joey calls Susie into his office to talk about her part. He says that every one of his characters means a lot to him. He believes characters are more than just drawings in a fictional world, that they're alive, they're part of them, and wants everyone to know them as well as he does. Then he mentions his secret project, and if successful, it'll make a lot of people's dreams come true, and wants Susie to be a part of it. He asks if she will do it, then the screen cuts to black. The next day at 2 a.m. in the morning, Wally finds a chocolate cake sitting in one of the office chairs. He thinks it's a perk for working so hard, so he takes it for himself. But he hopes no one finds out about the cake, otherwise he's quit. Meanwhile, Thomas has had enough with the ink that's going across the studio, leaking and flooding everything. So he decides to quit what he's doing currently and won't do any more tasks for Joey. 6 a.m. arrives, and it's not looking too good. Susie's gone missing, Thomas quit on the spot, and barely anyone is around anymore. Just then, Norman finds Sammy's notes on how to open his secret room where he works, and succeeds as the door opens. This moment was Sammy's breaking point. Sammy starts going insane, breaking things across the studio, but then if things couldn't get worse, he falls off a ledge and lands into the ink machine. But rather than turning him into a cartoon character, he becomes this weird ink man instead. Joey and other employees, among them is Wally, find Sammy in this state, but Sammy runs through a hole in the wall thanks to his new ink-covered body. The employees demand to know what just happened to Sammy, so Joey tells them to meet in his office and he'll explain everything there. At his office, Joey explains the purpose of the ink machine. The main thing it's used for is to mold life-size replicas of cartoon characters. When the prototype was created, it didn't go as they hoped, as the replica went berserk and started killing every employee in the area. The prototype ended up getting sealed away inside the depths of the machine, but with every day that passed, the prototype kept getting angrier. So to quell its desires, Joey set up different tasks for people to do, and lied about each of its purposes for the good of the company. Joey says that it lacks a soul, which is why it's acting the way it is. So with every new replica that's created, someone was shoved into the machine. We see just that in a few flashbacks, with two familiar faces in particular. When Wally finishes the news, he leaves the office as the others follow in tow. Joey sits there, thinking if bringing his creations to life was truly the right choice to make. Meanwhile, in a secret location, Bertram has finished his ultimate project and seals himself inside his machine. But he neglected to make it move around, so he's just stuck there until someone comes around. Many days pass, and everyone in the studio has succumbed to despair. Joey isn't sure what to do anymore now that the truth has been revealed to everyone. Just then, the ink machine starts shaking and the studio starts flooding with ink. Joey orders that everyone evacuates the building. Wally hears the news as well and also starts leaving. But it's no use. The ink catches up to many of the remaining employees we saw prior and get consumed by it. Joey is the only one who manages to escape so far, but as Wally is nearing the exit, he realizes that the machine will keep running until it reaches the ground floor and floods the streets, so he chooses to stay behind to shut down the machine. A few other employees manage to escape, while Wally has reached the ink machine controls. He struggles for a while, but succeeds in shutting it off, but in the end, he also gets absorbed by the ink. Back outside, Joey exits the premises and seals off the studio from the public as he walks away. The credits roll in a rather depressing state. And finally, in a post-credit scene, it jumps to 50 years later. A man enters the abandoned studio saying, "All right, Joey, I'm here. Let's see if you can find what you wanted me to see." Or let's see if we can find what you wanted me to see. You know, that line at the beginning of Bendy and the Ink Machine. But yeah, this one was a lot shorter than my other story predictions as well. But as I said before, this was kind of a retelling of what the audio logs were in the Bendy and the Ink Machine. I didn't include events from other from any of the other Bendy games. So yeah, that's kind of what this story prediction was all about. So yeah, sorry that this one was a bit short, but I mean it works. This story would kind of work for about I mean it would probably fit a runtime of an hour and 20 minutes if I'm doing my math right. But I mean, yeah, I could have added more parts to it, but it would have taken up more time to think of more parts to add to this. And also I want to be faithful to the original source material. So, yeah, near the end though, that was most of that was I thought of myself based on the context of what was said so far. So yeah, yeah. Something I neglected to mention at the beginning of this video is that throughout the story prediction, you may have noticed that Henry is nowhere to be heard or to be seen, aside from the end. Well, that's because I decided to make this story prediction without Henry, without the main protagonist from the first game. And the main reason for that is because in Bendy in the Ink Machine, Henry only has one audio log. So, yeah, which is what I decided to put at the beginning of the story prediction, um, just to get him out of the way. Since if you listen to it, then you'd understand. Well, yeah, because it seems like throughout this story, it sounds like Wally is the main protagonist. And yeah, here's the thing. So the creator of Bendy and the Ink Machine, the Meatly, he voices 3 different characters in Bendy and the Ink Machine. He voices Henry, he voices Wally Franks, and he voices Norman Polk. And since Wally has more audio logs than Norman does, I decided to try and make him a bit of the main focus throughout the story. But this story prediction, it feels like as though the story revolves around Bendy rather than focusing on him, or rather the story doesn't focus on one character, but rather it focuses on a multitude of characters. Yeah, this one was really tricky to pull off. And yeah, this sounds a bit rushed, but I still took my time with this one. It just I had to do a lot of thinking and everything, but and it's really tricky to get all of the lore of the game in the Bendy series, because the Bendy series has some of the most complex lore I've ever seen. So yeah, if you thought this was bad, then I'm sorry, but I tried the best I could with this one. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. What did you think of this story prediction? Did you think it was good? Did you think it was bad? Did you have a different story prediction? Do you think that that the Bendy and the Ink Machine movie should have retold the story of what happens in the game itself, with Henry exploring the abandoned studio? Do you think I should have gone with that plotline instead, with a few added touches of my own? Go ahead and comment down your thoughts below if you think I should have if you think I should have added some stuff, if you think I forgot some things or whatever. Go ahead and comment down your thoughts below, or comment down your all that. Like this video if you liked hearing this story prediction. Share this video with others that you know and say there's a new video game movie that's been announced, and this guy made a prediction on what the story could be and all that. And of course, subscribe if you want to see future story predictions such as this one. Yeah, but thanks for watching, everyone. I'm out of here.